This week's podcast brought to you by the Beefy Boys, three cool dudes hanging out talking about music, video games, and sports, and anything else that hits our fancy.
Check them out at www.beefyboys.com or on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Yeah. If you love their logo, you can buy their merch, www.cafepress.com/beefyboysmerch1.
And oh, baby, you know you're going to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Find us on Twitter at Beefy_Boys, and you can find us on Instagram at Official Beefy Boys, because it is official. Make us blue check marked, keep following us, and you can find us on Facebook at the Beefy Boys. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Beefy.
What up, knuckleheads? Welcome to episode 110 of the Beefy Boys Bud Club. I'm Joe, and I'm joined here with Vito.
What's up?
So, it's been going on, Vito. We're back from hiatus, as it were. Our first episode here of 2021. You know, everyone made the memes how 2021 would be better. We made it 5 days. 5 days before. And whatever, Christian's not here. We're going to get political before, violent insurrectionists attempted to overthrow a democratically elected president. So, great. How you doing, buddy?
Me? I'm doing all right, actually. I'm actually doing pretty freaking good. I passed my certification test for my medical assisting. So I am now certified. And
cool.
I also got hired on at my extern site. So I now have a job.
Nice. Well, you told me, I'm not going to reveal the rate, but you told me how much.
Yeah.
Are you still hourly or are you salaried?
It's hourly, yeah.
So then you can make overtime and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still working, is it 410s? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty cool. Do you get overtime pay for the above 8 hours a day? Or
no.
That was a union negotiated thing at the place, not a state law?
I don't know if it's union or not.
Your current job?
Yeah, I don't know if it's union or not.
No, I just meant at the MetMart. If you worked more than 8 hours a day.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a thing from MetMart. Because, I didn't work a union job at my last job, and it wasn't a thing either.
So it must have been the union there that did that for us. Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, grocery store is actually pretty good on benefits and stuff and overtime rates.
Well, there was that in 2011 or 2012, they launched a general strike on all the cashiers across all the grocery stores in the city, and they never actually got to the point where they had to shut down because they caved to their demands for union pay, but they were really leading the charge on the $15 an hour thing, and grocery store, specifically the cashiers in Seattle, have a lot of power, which is good. Yeah.
Yes.
My life's been going pretty good. I have, we talked about this, the divide between how things are going for you personally versus the existential threats to your happiness,
Yeah,
2021
definitely.
for me in my personal life was actually a pretty good year. I'm still
2020?
Yeah, sorry, 2020. I'm still killing it at my job.
Trying to forget.
I'm still killing it at my job, and the work from home situation has actually been easier for me. There were no interruptions to my payroll. I got a raise, and we adopted 2 cats, which is grand, We had to cancel our big wedding, but it was stressing us the fuck out anyway, and we saved a lot of money doing that. So, Plus,
there you go.
And I'm going to knock on wood when I say this, but no one in my family or close personal associates, I don't know anyone who's contracted COVID, so...
Same situation. I mean, I have some online friends who've had it. There's this one nurse, this one guy who's a nurse in my Classic WoW guild, and he's apparently had it 3 times.
Jesus. Well,
he works in ER.
Yeah.
He's a nurse and he works in ER. So.
Are you worried about that now that you work in medical,
Not really.
And cases are skyrocketing?
The sick... So, first of all, I work with kids.
Okay.
So there's not going to be a lot of, granted, it goes up to, 20-year-olds and stuff, but there's not that many of them. Usually it's, babies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
so it's not going to have all the like young partiers coming in to give us all COVID. And then on top of that, there's the well place. The well section is like separated from the sick section.
Okay.
So if you like work well, you work well. If you work sick, you work sick, and you don't go.
There's no cross contamination or anything. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
I see.
And we also have our swabbing station like up in the garage. So there's like one person at a time who works it, and we wear full protective equipment when working with the sick. I mean, I haven't done it yet, but I've talked about it and heard about it at work.
You're aware of it.
Yeah. So and you also need to like want to do it, because you have to like pass or do like training in order to wear the PPE in the first place, the protective equipment. And so there's like you actually have to like want to and like get trained and stuff in order to get over there and do that stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not too worried about like just randomly getting it. Although every now and then there's the person who like lies about having it until they've talked to the doctor, and then the doctor has to like sanitize the room and shit.
Yeah. It's very frustrating.
Or like they'll downplay it a lot if they have like a fever and sniffles or something. They'll be like, oh, he just has a little bit of a sniffle or and then he'd be like, oh well, he also, like, after they get into the office and after they get checked in and when they're seeing the doctor, like, oh well, he also has like a little bit of a fever or something like that.
Do you guys don't do temp checks on arrival?
I'm not sure if they do. I think it's just the questions, because if you basically, it's not limiting access. It's just choosing which section you go to.
I see. Yeah.
So like if you're sick, you go see the sick people, or you go see where the sick people go, where they have protective equipment and all of that like ready to go. And if you're well, you're just going in for like a well check or something, then or like a normal injury or something, then you can just go and
I see.
So like it's literally, they're not getting any less care. It's literally just you go to the left or the right. And yet they still like don't put any thought into it and like downplay it and stuff. But there's to be fair, I did work there for a month full time during the externship, and that only happened like once or twice.
Okay. That's still more than
so
it should.
It's still way more than it should, but it's luckily enough wasn't super often.
Like Christian's story of that guy as he was leaving, telling them that he has COVID. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? Get out of here.
Or like when I was working at the Met still, the like store manager, I can't remember if it was Frank or the other guy. But they had to go like talk to somebody who was like making a scene or whatever about not wearing a mask. And the guy took off the manager's mask, ripped it off, and spat in his face.
Oh my God. What is wrong with people?
Yeah, people are fucked up.
What the hell is wrong with people? Yeah. That's crazy. Like, I don't understand it. Like, what? Yeah. I don't know, man. There's this, like, for a party that claims to be all about personal responsibility, they certainly don't want to take responsibility for anything. And, like, if I hear one more person complain, I'm like, you can't tell me to wear a mask. I have rights. I'm like, bitch, it's a public health thing. All right? You don't
seriously.
Also have, there are expectations that you're not going to endanger the lives of others, right? Also, if you get fired from your job for being a racist fuckhead, That's not a free speech issue because you are not employed by the federal government. This really is not hard to understand. Like, oh, you know.
Or like how they're all saying like, oh, what about free speech when Trump got banned from social media? Yeah. And it's like, that's not how businesses work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a business, and they're looking out for their
account,
business.
You know, Twitter can do whatever the hell they want. Yeah,
exactly. Like they're not like, you can still go out on the street and fucking like talk to people or whatever.
Hey,
but it's their. If you're using their platform, then they're responsible for what's on it. You know.
They have a whole room in his house specifically for him to talk to the press. He never goes there, but it exists. I mean, you know.
Also, why is he still president? Like, I haven't really been looking into it that much, but I remember the transition being very quickly, like the rest of the times that I've been alive for.
Well, it always happens on the 20th, right? That's always been the thing. It just usually isn't this eventful. Other countries are like, why does it? Apparently, it used to happen in March. Like, wait, like 100.
Oh, apparently my wife was saying that the actual inauguration's on the 20th.
Yeah. Yeah. It always has been. Well, not always, because it used to be in March, but then I think it was like James Buchanan or somebody made a big fuss about it like 100 years ago, like just as much of a fuss as Trump is making now, just without social media or whatever. So they moved it up to prevent that kind of stuff from happening. But like in England, for example, if the election's on a Friday, the new government is in place on Monday. So they're like, what? Why is it so long? It's a good point.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as the counting's done, it should be like a week tops.
Right.
But then again, nothing on the government's ever been quick.
I'm worried about what's going to happen in the next few weeks.
Yeah. Apparently there's talks of trying to impeach and or use the 25th Amendment to get him out of office.
I just mean what's going to happen from all those, because all those crazy message boards
or one of those
that were telegraphing what was going to happen on the 6th, or Insurrection Day, as I'm calling it, are now saying that they're going to do even more on the 19th and 20th. So,
yeah.
You know, we can no longer pretend this is just baseless rhetoric. When they did it, they seized the U.S. government building, the Confederate battle flag flown over the Capitol for the first time ever. It was the most damage to the U.S. Capitol since the War of 1812, when the British famously burnt the White House to the ground. I mean,
yeah,
this is insane. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they built a gallows outside the Capitol and were chanting "Hang Trump." Right? They had
like
flex cups and machine guns and pipe bombs and Molotov cocktails. You know, I'm telling you. Go ahead.
You know, too, that like. If it wasn't white people, they would have never been allowed it.
I know, it's
They would have just been, beaten and shit.
Yeah, we don't have to go down this road forever, but yeah, I know. Well, there's those two videos circulating online. The one of the cop taking a selfie with the guy, and the other one of them just moving the barricades out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard this news story, but 2 Seattle police officers got put on indefinite administrative leave for participating in those riots.
I swear to God, they really need to punish people. Like, are you serious? You're going to let somebody retire when they've basically committed treason?
That's the problem, man. The shades of fascist Germany are eerily similar, That's why all these Republicans are like, it's time for healing and moving on. Like, well, we need accountability first, right?
Yeah, seriously.
Then we can move on,
Like, there has to be some kind of accountability
punches you
for all
in the
this
face at work, and then everyone's like, guys, it's just time to move on from the face-punching incident. I'm like, well, he needs to be reprimanded and fired. He punched me in the face. Yeah. What are you talking? You can't move on.
Yeah. Like,
now he just thinks it's okay if he punches me in the face. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, my God. Insanity. Insanity. All right, let's change topics.
I didn't realize, like...
Oh, go ahead.
Until, like, like probably several years ago, like when I was a kid growing up, I thought like, obviously there's still racism everywhere, but like I thought there was like some, like it got better, like not completely, but like that it was a little bit. It totally seems these days that like nothing's changed at all.
Yeah. Well,
like there might be
I feel like
a few things here and there, but for the most part, it feels like there's been like no change, no actual change.
All these like homophobes and xenophobes and racists and misogynists, like they existed. They just weren't organized. They were all in hiding. And then in the Trump era, they're like, oh, it's okay to be all these shitty people. So now they've organized and they have like their own apps and message boards and everything else. And, a free exchange of information on social media has made it much easier for these people to find each other.
I also don't know how it's legal to be like actively racist.
You can think whatever you want,
Well, no, I'm not talking about thinking. Like, obviously, you can't read people's minds, but like, actively like doing like racial crimes should not be.
I know.
Like unpunished.
I know. Well, Ara's new thing is like, she thinks government officials should be held to the same rules that anyone testifying in court is anytime they speak publicly. So if you're saying something that is demonstrably and knowably untrue, you should be subject to perjury.
Yeah, or
fucking Matt Gaetz on the floor of the House of Representatives the night of the attack, saying that it was Antifa. You should straight up be thrown in jail for perjury. I mean,
yeah,
that's my favorite reaction. Well, my favorite reaction is how the hardcore MAGA Twitter is totally schisming, because the people who were there was like, see, we did such a great job. And everyone who wasn't there was like, these weren't true Trump supporters. Trump supporters love the police. It's clearly Antifa has infiltrated us. And they're like, what are you talking about? You told us to go there. You told us to fight. You told us to not back down. And then we do, and you claim we're Antifa. We did exactly what you told us to do.
Things are so fucking crazy right now.
That, and then if I hear one,
and they have been for a while too.
Say like, oh, so when the Black Lives Matter protests over the summer, that was okay, but then this riot is not. I'm like, dude, if you really can't tell the difference between smashing a Target window and attempting to subvert a democratically elected president, I don't know what to tell you. Like, they are not seriously. The same thing at all. Oh. Back to my example, like, yeah, I punched Joe in the face, but he ate my lunch the other day out of the fridge, so it's the same. Like, no, it is not.
Oh, God.
I would never eat someone else's lunch out of the fridge, by the way. But, I have standards and morals, I guess.
Yeah, it's a crime punishable by death.
Apparently. Demand trial by combat.
Yes.
Oh, geez. What else you been up to over the last 2 weeks?
I've been playing World of Warcraft.
I see that.
I don't know if
right now.
Yeah, I'm just kind of AFK right now because I'm like, I can't really do this and talk at the same time when Christian's not here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I told you or not, but we downed Cthulhu. In my classic guild.
Nice.
Cthulhu's the last boss of the second to last raid.
Oh, I know him from the Hearthstone expansion.
Yeah,
it's basically Cthulhu, right? It's
Lovecraftian totally
inspired. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the.
So that was fun.
I don't know if you watch Netflix. If you watch Netflix's Sabrina, but that's the theme of the last season that launched on New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah.
It's all Eldritch terrors, yeah. So, Cthulhu-inspired stuff.
Yeah. That stuff's always kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also, in my retail guild, cleared the normal version of the raid and got 2 bosses down in heroic difficulty.
Cool. I was reading an article this morning. Oh, I know, they've been wrestling in there. It's been quite contested battle space this morning. My cat's in a box. Shocking. Stereotypes of cats.
Our cat always jumps into one of our chairs whenever we're not sitting into it in the office. And so we actually have her right now on a separate chair in between us right now, and she's just snoozing.
Aw, that's really cute.
Yeah.
Our cats are so spoiled. We've made them a pile of, like, we have so many blankets we keep getting them as gifts and stuff. And so we've made them a pile of 3 throw blankets. Or I guess one's a throw and 2 are just like polar fleece blankets, you know? That's where they'll sleep. And if one of those fleece blankets isn't properly folded, they don't know what to do. They're like, "Excuse me, where is my bed? Why is my bed?"
Oh my god,
not in
it's
one
so
of the
funny.
spots?"
So like our cat sleeps with us sometimes, but whenever I like, you know that clothing chair that people always have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we have one of those.
Yep.
And it's also one of those really comfy like big old like plush chairs that you can hang out in.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a full lazy boy where you can extend it and stuff, but like just kind of like a non-extendable one. And yeah, so I'll like be looking through my clothes and I'll like pile up some on top of the headrest or whatever. And the cat will like meow 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 meow, and then I had to take it off because that's where she likes to sleep sometimes. So every time I put stuff up there, I need to make sure to put it back down before the end of the night.
Our cat,
So
Muhammad,
funny.
has started this new routine where, like, right at bedtime, like right as I'm laying down, once I turn all the lights off and everything, she'll come into the bedroom and try and wake us up. Like, where have you been for the last 90 minutes when we were ready for playtime? But she'll try really hard, and it's all
Sleep
like
all day, fight all night.
yeah, like she does like this happy chirping sound, so it's a little bloop, 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 bloop. Or she'll find something really crinkly to crinkle. It's like I'm not getting out of bed. And last night I'm like, I really have to pee. I'm like, I gotta wait until there's at least like 90 seconds of silence so she doesn't think this worked. Like, you know? Oh
Yeah, sometimes I'll the cat will like, so we have a closet door that kind of closes and it has like a little hook instead of like a latch.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the doors kind of can wobble. And so she'll like bat at the door over and over and over again during the night sometimes. And then I'll just like, it's like short enough distance where like my foot is basically right there at the end of the bed. Mm-hmm. And so I just like kick the blankets and she'll like scatter.
Bahamut also loves spinach. It's her favorite snack food. And we took him to the vet to get their nails trimmed the other day. And we asked, because there's conflicting info online of whether or not you should feed your cat spinach. And some people are like, yeah, and some people are like, definitely don't, because there's like some sort of mineral in it that can cause crystals in their pee. But the vet was like, I mean, if your cat's old and has urinary problems already, then avoid spinach. You're a young, healthy cat, it's fine. So we started giving it to her again, and oh my God. Just yesterday, she did this new thing. Well, she'll take the leaf of baby spinach, and she'll flop on the floor. And then she'll hold it in her 2 front paws and eat it like a person eating a burrito. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God. I tried to record her doing it, but of course she was done. It was like the last leaf of the day. It's like, no more. And then her sister was like, is this a yummy snack food? But then the other cat doesn't like spinach. So there's like, she tries to eat it the way Bahamut does, but then there's just like shredded spinach, shredded wet spinach on the floor. She's like, oh, I don't like this. You like this?
Our cat is a porch cat as well as an indoor cat.
Yeah.
And because she's not like super adventurous and
yeah,
kind
you've
of scared
mentioned she's like too scared to jump
of like
down from the
jumping and
porch.
stuff. Yeah. And so you know, we have to block off the actual like stairs on the porch so that she doesn't get underneath the porch. Mm-hmm. But she'll be on the porch and on the railing. And sometimes there's cobwebs, and she loves the cobwebs. She'll like grab them with her paw and then like put her paw up to her face all scrunched up so it looks like she's like eating like an apple or something, but it's just like some cobwebs she's trying to look out.
Oh, that's cute.
It's so funny.
Yeah. They're so fun. They're playing in the tunnel right now. They love their little crinkly tunnel to take it away at class time sometimes.
Yeah.
We
I
had
can
roof-
hear it every now and then in the background.
Yeah. We had
Like,
roof.
tick, 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 tick.
Yep. Old kitten thunder, as we call it. We had roof work done this week. We had the leak finally fixed, and they replaced the skylight too, and they did some other stuff. And when they
Oh, dude. Speaking of freaking housework, we got a dishwasher again, and it's been like a year because it was broken, and then we just never really got it figured out, and then we got it replaced. And oh my god, so much nicer.
And counterintuitively, it uses less water than washing them by hand. By the way, so you're gonna save money on your water.
Oh, I'm sure, because like the water like just keeps running.
Yeah.
Whereas they use a finite amount of water for the dishwasher, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yep. Well, anyway, when they took the skylight out, the kittens were extremely interested in what was happening, and I could hear the roofers. They called our cat Simba because she looks like a little lion. Aw, how cute! The vet told us
Cute
they were
cats.
the sweetest cats. I'm like, yes, great cats. They do like to sleep in the bed. So typically, like at like relaxing times, I'm sitting in the chair playing video games. Ara's resting in her spot on the bed, and the cat's just between us, on the bed.
Yeah.
So then, like, usually, they haven't done this so much anymore because they've figured out the routine, but if it's time to go to bed, I'll, like, brush my teeth, and when I come back, I like, swaddle up the cat in all of her blankets and move them to the chair, Like, excuse me, this is my spot now. Well,
that's funny.
I came back.
Yeah,
I came back from the bathroom the other day, and the cat had typed me a message into Slack because I was at work. And it
that's
just
funny.
said, like, blah, blah, blah. Oh, obviously there's been a cat on my keyboard.
That's hilarious. Yeah, our cat's been pretty friendly too. Like when she's up on the railing, some kids will sometimes like come by and be like, "Can we pet the cat?" And she'll just be like real good and get pats and stuff.
Aw, that's so cute.
Yeah,
This is so cute. Can't believe there's people that don't like cats.
yeah.
That's crazy. I understand the allergic. That's fine. But if you just don't like them because you don't like them. Get out of here with your hatred of cats. What else have I been up to? Oh, I finished all the Avengers movies. I completed the task of finishing them before January 1st.
Nice.
So, to walk through them. Infinity War. Still fun, although that movie has way too much going on, Like, he couldn't have gotten one or two of the stones beforehand. He had to get all 6 in that one movie. Okay. Ant-Man and the Wasp I didn't care for as much. It was fine, but again, it was much like Iron Man 2. It feels like they forgot all the lessons of the first one, Like, Evangeline Lilly and Michael Douglas are still a dick to Paul Rudd the whole movie. It's like, did you not learn your lesson the first time, guys? Like, he's going to save the day. He always does. Hold on. Telling Christian to get on as soon as possible so we can talk football.
Oh,
Captain Marvel.
Got all our nerd and cat talk out of the way.
Well, there were some important developments,
Oh yeah, I guess there was also the political talk too.
Yeah, exactly. We got all the non-Christian stuff out of the way. Captain Marvel was okay. I just found it boring, and the conversion from the I can never remember which ones is which. So it's the Skrulls are the shapeshifters. Yeah, the Skrulls suddenly shocking spoiler. Oh, they're the good guys now. Haha. Like, that's unexpected and random. I did not care for that movie, and then
I enjoyed it.
Endgame, of course, is a classic. Although it was very fan servicey at the end. I'm like, literally everyone's here,
Yeah.
Everyone.
But I mean, that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah. And then the best part was, like, I was asking Ara all these questions. So, like, basically, if I understand the plot of Endgame right? They lose the 5 years, and then they undo the snap, and everyone comes back, but the 5 years have passed. So my question was, like, what does that mean for, like, high school kids? It's literally addressed in the first 5 minutes of the next movie. Like, in Spider-Man Far From Home, they addressed this. Like, like, half of us were snapped and half weren't. That means some of us are now 19 and some of us are still 14. And one of the guys is like, my younger brother is now older than me, So I'm like, okay, so they didn't age, There's like the guy trying to get a beer on the plane. He's like, "Excuse me, ma'am, he was stabbed. He's actually only 16." Oh, come on, you know. So I really liked Far From Home. That's what I'm getting at.
I thought Far From Home was. Is that the first one?
No, it's the
Spider-Man?
second one.
Oh, okay.
The one with Jake Gyllenhaal. That's
Oh, I remember it now. Yeah, I need to rewatch those movies too. I'm barely remembering which order they're in.
All the stuff. Well, you know, the first 2 episodes of WandaVision launch in like a week, so you have until then. Are you familiar with WandaVision?
No.
It's Wanda, so Scarlet Witch and Vision.
Oh, you mean Wanda and Vision, like the ship?
Yeah. But like in doing like a 50s housewife sitcom, you know, that's my understanding of it at least.
Wait, they're making that into a movie?
It's a Disney Plus show.
Oh, okay.
The first 2 episodes launch next Friday, I want to say, and then 1 episode a week after. It's getting positive reviews so far.
I don't know if I really care for a slice of life hero and fucking.
I don't know how it's gonna work. Yeah, because like the Netflix shows were okay. I watched season 1 of Daredevil. I liked Jessica Jones. I fell off of season 2 of Daredevil, but I never.
I did the same thing.
Yeah,
I didn't watch Jessica Jones though. I need to do that still.
Jessica Jones season 1 is really good. After that, it falls apart. Seasons 2 and 3 are not great, but season 1 is great.
I feel like that's often the case. They'll do a really solid season 1 because they're like prepared for it and everything, and then like they don't know whether it's going to continue or not, and then they have to make the season 2, but then they also have to make season 3, and so they have to like make season 2 go into season 3,
well,
and
Netflix,
so then they don't do enough in season 2, and
yeah.
I just feel like that's kind of how all that kind of stuff ends up working.
Netflix especially has been so fast with the cancel hammer, you know? Like, I can't imagine if you're pitching a show to Netflix, you're planning out more than 1-2 seasons tops, because, you know.
Yeah.
I think they backed this down, but for a while they were saying that nothing is ever going to get a 3rd season because the numbers just don't. Like, the viewership falls off so hard after season 2. It's just not worth it, you know?
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is it though? Because, you know, we don't want to get into that situation we were in 10, 15 years ago where shows go on too long, you know? Like if The Office had ended when Michael Scott left, no one would be sad about it, you know? I'm not saying there's not some great situations from Andy Bernard as manager, but, like, I never cared about the Andy Aaron will they, won't they, and, you know, James Spader as Robert California was just kind of creepy. And then the last season when they added Clark and Plop.
I don't know. I guess I watch a lot of anime, and I'm kind of sad that like a lot of animes that I've been watching don't often get continued.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not recently because I haven't really watched anime recently, but back when I was watching it a lot, there was like several shows per season that would only get 1 season, and I'm like, but I liked it so good.
Well, speaking of anime, that's a nice transition to what I've been playing. So I finished Cyberpunk. I like full completion. I completed all the quests and side activities and every marker on the map. I didn't get the platinum trophy for a number of reasons. I might go back with a second playthrough with like a different style. But I also found out afterward that like apparently the style of play I was using.
Completionist.
Yeah, I know. The style of play I was using is like well known in internet circles as like the most broken style. Like
that's funny.
It's like if you want to just completely dominate Cyberpunk, try this play style. And it's like, all right, you got to go for the Contagion build in the hacker in the Netrunner version, because basically what happens is, I think I told you this, but by the end of the game, I had so much MP and I had this skill. It's called Contagion. And what it does, it's a DOT, and it's not a very strong DOT, but it has a strong initial burst. And its cool mechanic is that it spreads. And by the end, if you've upgraded it far enough, it can infect 8 other enemies, and the range is so high that it basically, you infect one person, it spreads to someone else, then from that person it spreads to someone else, and back to the first person, you know? So like, and the infection, like, I had leveled up my hacking so fast that like initially you have to wait for like the demon, they call it, to get uploaded, but it happens so fast, it's like instantaneous. It's like I infect this one guy and then 4 guys are dead. Like right away. And then the recharge is like 1 second. So like,
Yeah.
and I can do it through a hacked camera. So like, it's like, this is insane. Like,
Yeah,
I just killed the whole room.
If I was doing a freaking sci-fi thing like that, where you're doing hackers and stuff, I mean, of course you go the fucking like ultimate hacker build.
Right? I never play as a wizard either, but I did this time. Like, I didn't fire my gun for like this last 20 hours of the game because I didn't need to.
Yeah.
I could just hack everyone. And I had this assault rifle too that was like, I kept leveling it up. It was so powerful. First of all, it was a smart weapon, so you didn't even have to aim it. It would just automatically track enemies. 2 hits would kill anything. So like, I don't even need this badass gun. Like, also, I leveled up crafting too, which broke the economy because you could just buy like canned sodas, deconstruct them to their components, and then build weapons that you sell for a huge profit. So I spent 20 minutes just in that loop of buying all the soda, breaking it down, building a sniper rifle.
That's kind of
selling
single player games for you, isn't it?
Waiting a day so that the inventory on the
you just find
market
the way to break the game, and then
Yeah.
you break it, and then have fun just like shitting all over the game.
Yeah. Because there's like a bunch of cars you can buy, you know, and they get fucking expensive. And I wanted to get them all. So I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just going to spend half an hour till I have like $2 million. Boom, go for it. Yeah.
Anyway, we were saying you finished that. and you
Yeah,
were
so
telling me
I
the different
started
one?
playing what Ara refers to as School Boobs. The series is called Trails of Cold Steel.
Yeah.
Trails of Cold Steel 3, or School Boobs as Ara calls it. It's the most anime of video games that I play.
That's
Now,
funny.
The thing is, right, this is a anime style video game that takes place in a fictional military high school, except
Yep.
there are giant mechs.
Yep.
And the uniforms are interesting in the fact that they are way too low cut and tight at the same time. And I feel like, so there was a sizable gap between the first and second one. And then there were 2 intermission games that took place. Like, so this series is kind of famous in that the world building is actually really good for these kind of games. And like the Legend of Heroes Trails series has spanned like 12 games now that are all take place at the same time frame in the same place. So it's like this big interconnected story, you know, which is good.
Yeah.
The world building is actually really good. But I feel like because there was like a 5 or 6 year gap between 2 and 3, that like it's become even more of a caricature of itself. Whereas in I Swear to God, the same characters from game to game, somehow their boobs got twice as big, while their shirts got half as big. And I'm like, I need to look up screenshots because I swear her tits weren't that big before. Like, oh man,
That's anime for you.
I know.
What probably happened is they got more powerful, therefore their tits got bigger.
Oh, and their shirts got smaller.
Yeah, because that's how anime works, right?
Yeah. Oh man. There was a scene where like you know, you're in a high school, so of course there's swimsuits at one point, and like the captain of like the swimming team is wearing her one-piece swimsuit, and just like the way her boobs sit in the swimsuit, I'm like, this just isn't possible. Like,
Yeah.
that's not how spandex works. Like, the only way that could be possible is if they made socks for her boobs. And so I don't know if you're familiar with the boob sock meme, but I asked Ara if she had heard about it, and she was like, no. So I told her about it. I'm like, look at the cut of this swimsuit. That would have to be cut into the fabric for that to exist. Yeah. So, yeah, it's becoming more and more ridiculous. Like, you meet a character who's supposed to be like a medical intern, and she's wearing like a short sleeve pink button down like lab coat that's like way too tight. Like,
Yep.
what's happening?
Classic anime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just gotten to the point where it's just like ridiculous and hilarious to me, you know.
Yup.
Like, everything is so sexy. I saw a pretty good meme online. It was from it was Gary Whitta, I don't know, some video game writer, and it was the Venn diagram between people who complain that the boobs are too small, or are not big enough in video games, and the people who storm the Capitol is a perfect circle. Oh my god, I laugh so hard. But yeah, the game
I'm gonna ring
is...
Christian, see if we can't get him in here.
Word? I was wondering if he was trying to join, if you just rang him. The game is fun. Like I said, the story building is real good, and the combat system is simple enough that it's not like bogged down by a whole lot of those anime tropes they have these days, but it's still, there's still some bits to it that are strategic and interesting.
Nice.
And the best, I know that they didn't invent this, but the best thing they ever did here, they have a turbo button. So these games are very methodically paced and slow. The turbo button, everything moves at double speed. Combat, cutscenes, everything.
Nice.
Which just makes it go so much faster. I'm like, all right, I don't need this slow panning shot that I'm sure looked good when this game came out 7 years ago, but now just looks like mediocre anime. Can we speed it up? Pretty much use the turbo button all the time,
Yep.
The first 3 times I saw the character's ultimate ability was fine. I don't need to watch the animation every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've been playing. I wasn't planning on it. I was like, I don't know if you do, because I know you're like an MMO head, but my thing is, if I don't have a game that like I want to play, I'll just try out a bunch of them for a short amount of time and see whichever one sticks. And I thought I was going to get into a Yakuza game, but no, I put School Boobs on. I'm just going to call it School Boobs, because that's what Ara calls it. I put School Boobs on, and I'm like, you know what? This game is sticking with me. This is the one I'm going to play. So there we are.
There you go.
There we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I do a little bit of that, because I'll usually play like another game as well. Like right now I'm into Minecraft for a little bit with my wife and a couple of our friends on like a server.
Yeah, I got back into Rocket League and Fall Guys as well. That's like my mindless podcast game,
Yeah.
Yeah. Fall Guys is still killing it in my book. The new levels are really good for the winter update. Yeah. I'm going to hit level 40. I didn't hit level 40 in the Battle Pass on Season 2. I didn't care for those levels as much, but these new levels are good. Yeah, I'm just into it. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I meant to tell you, by the way, I saw this article. I was reading it this morning while taking a shit about the top MMOs to play in 2021. And you know what the top 2 were?
World of Warcraft.
That was number 2.
World of Warcraft Classic.
No, Final Fantasy 14. That was number 1. The 2 best MMOs of 2014 are from 2004 and 2011.
Yeah. I mean, they're the best ones, so
Yeah.
makes sense.
Remember when everyone was making an MMO and then they gave up? But it's interesting because the player base still exists, but I don't see. I mean, I know Amazon's making one.
They can never
right
deliver.
Now. Yeah.
They can never deliver as much as the concurrent ones are.
That's the problem. Yeah, exactly. Because like you can, like, if you want to get into an MMO, get into one that has 10 years worth of content, as opposed to like playing an MMO at launch is never fun in my book, because there's never enough content,
Yeah.
Not for your hardcore. Like I said, I got to endgame in Final Fantasy 14 2.0 or Realm Reborn, like at launch. And I tried to do the endgame grind, but it was just so boring, And plus, like at that time, it was all like fates, so like world events that are like competitive, and my PS3 could not load the assets in fast enough when there were that many people trying to do them that I wouldn't even get credit for completing it because I didn't do anything. I'm like, I can't fight these guys because they die before they load.
Yeah, I feel like current Final Fantasy 14 has one of the best end games.
Yeah, but that took years. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Plus, like the initial investment in it is humongous. Now, Amazon is launching one apparently this year. Have you heard about it? It's called The New
I've heard
World,
things about
I think. Is it going to be?
I think that so. There's one MMO that's basically on my radar, and I can't remember what it's called because I haven't looked at it for a while. But there's this one that's being created by this like old MMO guy or whatever who got a bunch of talent from other MMOs to come make the game. And apparently it's going to be a super dynamic world where like you like when you do stuff in an area, it slowly builds up the like town of that area. And when that that town gets like upgraded, the zone gets upgraded, and like changes based off the upgrades that you have. And there's
that's
like
pretty
PvP
cool.
where like a group can take over one town and like take it over for themselves and
Sounds
upgrade
like-
it in a different way.
Like EVE Online.
Yeah,
Maybe a
it
little less
definitely
intense.
sounds like a fantasy version of EVE Online, basically,
Yeah. When are they
which
gonna?
would make it less intense just because there's less like there's so many things with like spaceships and all that building and training and stuff. Whereas like with fantasy character, you just have the character you're playing for the most part.
When are they gonna announce? What 6.0 would it be of 14? When are they gonna announce the next expansion? Shadowbringers was 2019. Like,
I think they announced it like after the last patch,
did they?
if I remember correctly.
What's it called?
No, not the next. I'm sorry, I'm saying last time they announced Shadowbringers, like after the patch of Stormblood.
I see.
The last like main patch, main story patch, I think.
I see. Yeah, these articles are all from like June of last year. Forspoken, maybe.
I've got to go back and play the main story. I haven't been playing it at all.
You finished. Well, we were both. We both, I think, came back for 2 days during 5.3, right?
Yeah, I beat the main story on 5.3, but I need to go back because I think there's a new main story patch.
There is. 5.4 is out. I'm just gonna wait for 6.0 and then so I get the experience credit. Most likely. I don't know if it'll run on my PS5 or not. Haven't figured that out yet. I also don't want to get sucked back in. I have so many games in my backlog to play right now, you know.
Yeah, I probably won't get sucked in at all because I'll probably just play the main story and that's it.
What about when 6.0 comes out, though?
I'll probably just play the main story and that's it. Or I won't play it at all.
Damn.
Depending.
You were so into it.
Well, yeah, but now my wife's not playing it, so I don't really have...
I see. Maybe it'll come back.
What makes an MMO fun for the most part is the group you're
The
playing with.
community, yeah, I know.
And
Yes,
so,
I
like-
definitely had the most fun when we were running content together, for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
This is like with the randoms. When we did those like 3 days of trying to solo every extreme trial for the bonus.
Yeah, and we had like a pretty good like FC or whatever, but they were kind of small and didn't really do much.
Well, they're all
like
Lalafell, so of course they're small.
No, I know, but I mean, like it was really hard to try to do Savage because people just wouldn't show up basically, and didn't have enough time to do more than one raid per week basically.
I see.
So after that, I was like, well, after doing that for a while, clearing the one Savage boss, I was like, my wife's not playing anymore, and we're not doing Savage content. So basically, the only reason for me to play is the main story. So I'll probably finish Shadowbringer's main story and then just not pick it back up again.
That's fair. So not even for like Eden or anything, because they got to be more turns of Eden. Yeah, you're not interested in that story?
I'll probably just probably YouTube the story for it.
That's fair.
Because there's no real point in me doing the raid myself.
That's fair. I mean, you can do it on normal. It's not normal raids aren't that hard. Even the optional.
It's
ones.
more the time consumption.
I got you.
Because I'm raiding in WoW and retail and classic. So.
That's fair. Plus, if you never played Nier, I don't know that you have the attachment to those Nier characters.
I had absolutely no attachment to Nier.
Like, who are these people?
No, I know of Nier, but I never played it, and I don't really care about it.
I got you. All right. I don't know if Christian's hopping on, so I guess I can talk about the nonsense that is the NFL system. So the Seahawks lost yesterday, which is pretty funny. I'm sure Christian is angry. They're eliminated from the playoffs now.
Like a complete losing streak?
They're 12-4. I mean, it's a pretty good record. But
okay. I've just only heard of their losses.
They lost to the Rams, which is hilarious. Because
Didn't they also lose to the Giants or whatever,
too? Lose to the Giants, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So they're doing well. I've just only heard about their losses.
Well, they're eliminated. It's the playoffs now. They lost yesterday. They're done. They're done for the year.
How do they go 12-4 and not get anywhere with it?
But yeah, exactly. That's a good question. They're not a good team. Now, Vito, I know you don't follow football, so you haven't heard this story. So, the final week of the season, and the NFC East crown is up for grabs. 3 teams are available to win. If the Washington team beats Philadelphia, that's it. They win the division. If the Giants beat the Cowboys and the Philadelphia beats Washington, the Giants are in. If the Cowboys beat the Giants and Philadelphia beats Washington, the Cowboys are in, right? Pretty straightforward scenarios, right? So the Giants and Cowboys play early in the afternoon. The Giants win, right? So now it all comes down to if Philadelphia wins, the Giants are in the playoffs. If Washington wins, Washington is in the playoffs. Philadelphia intentionally lost this game. Very clearly to anyone watching it. To the point where, they were up in the game. They were down by a few points. They attempted to score a touchdown when they could have taken a field goal to take the lead, and they chose not to do it. Then, their quarterback, who was playing well, they took him out of the game even though he wasn't injured for no reason, and put in his backup quarterback. Now, by losing the game, they increased their odds of getting a good player because they changed their draft pick from the number 9 overall player to number 5, right? And the NFL Twitter is in a total uproar over sportsmanship and the lack of effort that was put in trying to win this game. So, yeah, that is the scenario. Now, as a Giants fan and a fan of chaos, the Giants would have been 6-10. So, 6-game winners, 10 losers, and they would have been a playoff team, which would have been hilarious. But alas, because the Washington team won, the NFC East champion was 7-9, which is not a good record, but also not historically bad. There have been other 7-9 division winners in the past, most notably the Seahawks. But yeah, so that's the story.
I still don't get it.
Basically, the Philadelphia Eagles intentionally lost a game, which meant that the Giants couldn't make the playoffs, even though they had a chance to win it. And, and the NFL Twitter is really, really mad about it because it's just bad sportsmanship or some nonsense. Weird. I know. I agree. Football is.
I feel like they should just do it like a fucking tournament knockout system.
I mean, you have to qualify for the tournament is the only thing. But yeah, I hear you. Why not just do all 32 teams? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a move. That would be, yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Just do a fucking normalized tournament knockout system and see who wins.
I want to see U.S. sports leagues adopt European soccer's relegation system, wherein if you're in the top league, the why is the name escaping me? What's the name of the British soccer league? Oh my God, the Premier League. The Premier League in Britain. If you come in last place in the league, you have the worst record, you get demoted to the lower league, and the team with the best record in the lower league gets promoted, right? So there's incentive not to be the worst team,
Yeah.
You want to be I think it's the 3 or 4 lowest teams get demoted or relegated, and the 3 or 4 highest teams in the other league get promoted. Yeah. There is incentive to be not terrible,
Yup.
Oh, part of my rig on. That's really the big sports stuff that's been going on that I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah. Sports. What else have we been up to? Oh, R and I played a new board game that's really great. It's called New York Zoo, and we've played it 10 times now since the start of the new year. I think was the first day we played it. The idea of this game is you're building a zoo and you have to fill it with animals. It's pretty straightforward. Did you ever play Patchwork? Vito, are you familiar with the board game Patchwork?
I am not.
Okay. Are you familiar with the video game Tetris?
Tetris?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the basic idea of this game is you have all these like enclosure spaces that are like Tetris shapes, and you have this grid on your board, and you have to fill every space of your grid. So in Tetris, all the spaces are 4 blocks big, but in this game, they range in size from like 7 blocks all the way down to 1. So, you move around the board and you grab pieces, and then you have to get animals to live in those enclosures. If you get enough animals in your enclosure, you're entitled to a attraction, which is like a roller coaster or a food stall. Those are like the smaller pieces, so you can fill in the gaps.
That sounds like that one dinosaur game we played.
Yeah, it's similar actually. Yeah,
A little bit.
I forgot Dinosaur Island. You have to like fill in the spaces of your board. Yeah, it's not nearly as complex because Dinosaur Island's a pretty meaty game, but with all the like genetic engineering and stuff, and having to worry about dinosaurs eating your people.
Yeah,
I like that game. I want to play it again.
That was a good one.
I don't think Ara liked it. It's the only thing a little too complex for her. But in this game, like one of the cooler ideas is that there's no scoring track of any kind. Like, if your board is completely full, you win. That's the end of the game, right? There's no scoring. There's no nothing, right? So it's basically a race to get the biggest zoo possible. Yeah. And there's also there's 4 kinds of animals, and they all have their own little wooden tokens. So there's like little wooden penguins and kangaroos and flamingos and meerkats and wolves. It's pretty cute. Pretty cute. My one gripe with the game is the enclosures come in 4 sizes, size 4 all the way up to size 7, and they're color coded, but they're all different shades of green that look way too similar. So it's really hard to like sort them when you're trying to set up the board, or like tell the difference. Like, is this a size 5 or a size 6? I mean, I could count the blocks, but I want the bigger one,
Yeah.
I wish they were different sizes. We've talked about just taking like a Sharpie and writing the number on the piece. This is a size 5. That and like it's a little cramped. So like the idea is, in order to get an attraction, you need to fill every space with an animal in that enclosure. So like if you have a size 7 kangaroo enclosure, you need 7 kangaroos in there. That completes the enclosure, then you get an attraction. It can be really hard to put the little kangaroos on there when you have a bunch of these all together because the board gets kind of cramped. I'm like, I would never want to play this game with my mom because she would knock all her pieces over like 1,000 times. Like a little bump at the table and everything falls over. That was like our one hang up.
Honestly, that'd be me too. I'd probably knock it all over.
Yeah. So my mom is notorious for like reaching across the table and knocking stuff over with her boobs. It's been a meme in our family our whole life,
That's funny.
Just ask someone to pass you the thing, for Christ's sake. Yeah, we love that game. We've played it so much. It's so fun. Maybe I'll convince my wife to play it later today. We'll see. All right, we got about an hour. I don't think Christian's hopping on.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else going on?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, that's all I have on my list. All right. Let's wrap it up, and hopefully next week we'll get Christian back to talk about NFL playoffs and all that fun nonsense. But for now, this has been episode 110 of the Beefy Boys Bud Club, and we'll see. Oh, we recorded episode 110 on 110. That's funny.
Wow.
Numbers. And we'll see you knuckleheads next week.
See you.